So, we have a first question here to get us started. You say that the product is verified. Could you explain what that means?
When being verified is that we have, together with DNV, set up certain test criteria for the product. So how they want to test the product, and this is based on our technical specification. So what DNV has done is that they have performed, together with us, this kind of testing to make sure that our product fulfills our technical specification. And that is the report that DNV then has provided to Azelio, where they state that we fulfill the technical specifications set out in our technical specification that we give to the customer.
Mm-hmm. Good. So before we continue with the questions from the chat, I would like to check if there are any questions from the live audience here. Not right now. Let me know if you change your mind. So let's see what we have from the chat. We have a question from Oskar Wilhelmsson, analyst at Redeye. To Jonas, what are the most important initiatives that you have taken since you started as a CEO?
What I see as the most important thing that we did, and the most valuable thing that we did, was to really, the first thing, to do this strategic overview. This strategic overview has really led to all the initiatives that we have done so far from sort of when I took over. So the strategic overview had sort of opened up our eyes when it comes to cost reductions. It has opened up the eyes on how we go to market with the regional directors, and also sort of the need for cost containment and cost sort of control. So there are a lot of initiatives, but it's all based on one thing, and that's a strategic overview, and that we did immediately taken over.
Yeah, good. And another one for Jonas. What do you consider as the largest challenges for Azelio as a company in the coming 12 months?
There are, of course, challenges ahead. But I would call them, I mean, there are opportunities, but they're hard work, where we have to put in our hard work. I think it's in sales. It's to make sure that our installations really perform as they should in each target market. So, but the important things are really getting out, so getting this commercial reference product on the market and get them up and running, because that will lay the basis for the next step.
Thank you. We also have a question here from Kevin. What does your rollout in detail look like to getting close to reaching positive cash flow in the second half of 2023, since no orders or projects have been presented yet this year, also taking the installation time into account?
I mean, what we have communicated is that we will deliver a handful of projects during 2022. We are on our way to do this. We have so far the NOR project delivered. We have the WEB project very soon up and running. We have the US sold, thank you. And of course the handy stop here. But I foresee that more orders will come during this year, and this will lay the basis for the next year. But what we see for the next year is that we will have 10 projects, at least 10 projects in this mid-sized range, from 500 kilowatts up to 5 megawatts during 2023.
Yeah, good. Now we have a question from Jonas. You expect to invest about 100 million crowns from the rights issue to finance your own projects. Could you elaborate a little bit on this decision? What do you expect in terms of size and markets for these projects?
this is really key. This market investment, the reason for this is to be a co-invest in the energy as a service projects. And as Ralph mentioned, this is sort of lowering the threshold for the customers to go with our technology. Do you want to add something to this, Ralph, or is it?
Yeah, thank you, Jonas. Yeah, I mean, as you said, the energy as a service, which requires co-investments, that's what we do in the initial phase. And step by step, we will reduce the need of our investment in this plant. And I would say the 110 million kroner we have, that is for the plants this year and part of the plants we have next year. And already next year, as I expect, and we are working with it, that we have operational data. Let's say once we have operational data for 6 months, so that means that we are bankable, and maybe we'll not get, let's say, 70–80% of the project financed by that, but we will get that. We are bankable, so that means the need of co-investments and market investment will go down significantly next year, and very fast.
All right, then we have a question from Oscar at Redeye again on competition. Is there really no alternative to your technology with long duration storage, even if you think of technologies in early stages?
There are, to our knowledge, no commercially available technologies for long duration energy storage in our market segment. There are some early stage companies for sure, but when I look at them, I think that they have a couple of years until they can go into a more commercial state. So what we are referring to is commercially available long duration energy storage systems that are made for a sort of more distributed deployment.
Mm-hmm. And another one from Oscar about market. What is your most important market for the next 1 to 2 years? And what are the most important markets in the coming 10 years?
I think that Ralph made a very good answer on this in his presentation, but as we mentioned in Ralph's presentation, for next year we really see South Africa and the MENA region as the markets where we will have most sales. But in long term, if we talk about 10 years, for sure US is the biggest market.
Mm-hmm. Another one from Oscar. Would you argue that your test pod combined with PV would be enough to run an off-grid industry or farm? Previously you said that you can replace diesel gensets as backup power. Is that really so?
I would not call it backup power, because what we do is really that we create a 24-hour system. But to create a sort of complete off-grid system, there are many different services that you have to, sort of energy services that you have to provide. So in a complete off-grid, there will be other systems that are combined with our systems to enable some certain grid services as frequency stabilization and so on. So there will probably be a smaller lithium-ion battery or capacitors. There will be some kind of backup of a diesel genset. So there are different components in this system if you want to go 100% off-grid.
Let's see, then we have a question from Richard, who says that about 30% efficiency of the Stirling engine. Why would you use a Stirling engine?
It's totally correct, 30% efficiency from the Stirling engine. But the key is not the efficiency. The key is the cost for the consumer of the electricity. And what we can provide is a much lower cost of electricity than alternatives.
Great. So from Oscar at Redeye again, how important will the heat application be for your future customers? as the project returns becomes much better in this installation, will you add more focus towards this area?
I see it like this. Our customers, our projects will be profitable without the heat application. Adding the heat will of course improve the business case. Why the heat is an important part of the offer, but it's not the sort of deal breaker. We can still provide good business cases without the heat.
Yeah, that's good. So from Oscar again, are you aiming for a partner in the Australian market as well?
Yes, we will have partners in all of our target markets.
And then we have from Kevin again. He says, you mentioned in several reports, presentations, and in the share issue press release that energy as a service, SPV, and joint venture projects selling energy storage PPAs going forward. How is that affecting the cash flow of the company?
We have to remember that the energy as a service model for Azelio is an initial model. This is the model to bring the product to the market. In the long run, it will be direct sales. The owning assets is of course sort of you get your IRR owning the assets, but in the long run the target is to have direct sales.
Good. So Oscar Wilhelmsson again asks, you have previously talked about storage also for wind power being possible later on. What is your current position on this?
At this moment, I mean, our energy storage system is charged with electricity, while in reality we can use any energy source that produces electricity. So wind power is already, it's possible to combine our system with wind power, although we have a very good fit with solar PV. Solar energy, of course, is the...
And Kevin asks again, and I think this is related to our transition from energy as a service business model to the direct sales model. Considering it will be monthly or quarterly payments of less, but over time higher than selling directly, how much do you need to generate in terms of sold test pods during a quarter to reach positive cash flow?
What we have communicated is still that during 2023 we will sell at least 10 projects, and these projects we aim for from 500 kilowatts up to 5 megawatts.
Let's see, where do we have the next one? Yeah, that's from Oscar again. Would it be possible with any governmental support for projects in the US market going forward?
I think the governmental support in the US is right now a really good opportunity, because with the Inflation Reduction Act there are specific tax reductions for energy storage. So that is making the case in US even better. So definitely, yes.
That's good. So Kevin again asks, should we expect development banks, financiers, etc., ensuring a part of the upfront costs when the system becomes bankable? What steps are needed to the test pod being bankable, and when do you expect it?
So how to... I mean, of course, being in these markets where we are in the same markets as the development banks are operating. And the development banks, they have huge interest in securing energy. So of course, the negotiations and discussions with the development banks is important for these markets going forward.
Right.
Yeah, we have a question over here.
Question from the audience?
Tack. Well, Regarding the cash flow for the next year, you said you aim for 10 different projects, mid-size projects. But the main question is that are they going to be delivered as energy as a service or upfront payment, or how do you calculate with these 10 projects?
I foresee that this will be a transition in the beginning of 2023. I think what we foresee is that the first product in 2023, we will probably sell them as energy as a service. But the longer we sort of have units on the market, the higher is the possibility to sell them as direct sales. So this is a transition during 2023.
I assume that planning 10 projects for 2023, you have already started negotiation, so you know roughly what the customer want, or I mean, you have a long lead time for selling, I presume.
There are lead times for selling, but I don't think that I'm able to sort of go into that kind of information at this moment. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Oscar from Redeye again. Could you say something on the general expected IRR for the projects that you have in pipeline or under discussion today?
I think that we can once again have Ralph in the meeting, or in the...
Yeah. I mean, I can give you ideas. We have, let's say, we expect from our projects, and it depends in which geographic area you are, what is the solar irradiation in this area, what segment you are, what is the demand profile. But all the projects we have right now, we are discussing the future projects that are coming right now. We have a payback time between 4 to 8 years, and the IRR of the projects between 13 to 15%. So I think that gives us a very good win-win situation, let's say, for us and for our customers.
Thank you, Ralph. Another one from Oscar. When do you expect the UL certification to be finalized?
UL certification is a quite long process. It takes time. We initiated this work beginning of like before summer, and it will probably be our aim is to have it in place somewhere end of next year, end of next year.
All right. And Oscar also asks, what are your expectations on Mastar and Mercen for the coming years?
The product that we have with Mastar is that they will evaluate our product after roughly 12 months. And based on that, we will be eligible to be a technology in their portfolio. And this means that we will be assessed in many different sort of projects for them. And of course, this is very interesting, but I don't want to sort of state the volumes and anything. It's better to just see first, let the projects sort of finalize, and then we see how we collaborate with Mastar. Right.
So now I think we're at the final question for today. And that question is from Juan Manuel, who says, if the idea is to sell electricity as a service initially, so not have customers to pay up front for the units, what makes the leadership think that in the future you can transition to direct sales?
I would say that the energy as a service model is a proven model. This is used by many companies all over the world. As a technology provider, selling to these kind of product financing companies is something that is quite common. But you have to prove the technology on the market first, and that is really what we do by the energy as a service projects. We can prove that we are building profitable projects in the key markets, and this will then generate sort of new sales, and we will be able to sell not only to other end service providers, but also, as we talked about, the producers of equipment. We can sell directly to the end customer and so on. But I really foresee that the key is to prove the model, and then there are others that already have the same model, but with other types of equipment. So I don't really see the threshold there.
Oh, good. So that was actually the last question that we will be answering today. So if you feel that we didn't answer your question properly, or if you have additional questions, you're welcome to send them via email to ir@azelio.com. That is ir@azelio.com. And we'll try to answer you as well as we can. Right, so by that, we conclude this Capital Markets Day. I would like to thank all our speakers, thank everyone who joined us here in the room and online. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.